Hi there, hello beloved twin flames. This is Stephanie Parasha, Divine Light, coming out to you from New Zealand, Aotearoa, and I decided instead of doing a voice recording, I would put myself up on camera because it's been a little while since I've shown you my face and since I've put out a video, and I thought it was time to be with you in the real. So just quite a bit going on personally for me and also in the world in general. As you may or may not be feeling, the energies have definitely been pretty powerful and pretty intense and pretty full on for a large number of people, as we're seeing around us in our communities and in our families and our personal lives. So as much as I don't like to focus in too much on the negative things that are happening, unfortunately, I'm just going to have to say that things are pretty tough right now. And I'm just going to be honest about the energies that I'm picking up on for a large number of people. And yeah, this is relevant to all of us. Nobody is immune. Nobody can sit in a little bubble of love and light and pretend that everything's happy and wonderful and you're all good and you're immune because you've done all the light work, therefore you no longer get affected. I think we're all in this together, but we're at varying stages of the healing process, and a lot of what people are experiencing, I believe, as we go through this evolutionary process and we do what a lot of people are calling ascension, it's not a race. It's not about one person achieving a higher result than everyone else. It's about us physically, emotionally, and spiritually evolving as a human race. And part of that evolutionary process is about us releasing all the trauma and energies of fear that have been trapped in our physical bodies and in our minds and our emotions and in our psyche for a long, long period of time. And as we know, we're in a process of this being discharged and released out of our body. And in order for that to happen, we are obviously being triggered. And many, many people are being triggered around us into states or into our state of fear to remind us that we are still perhaps holding on to fears or have unhealed wounds within us that are triggered by certain situations that we find ourselves in. And often that can be to our great surprise. We think we've done a lot of healing or we've done all sorts of great things and we've done a lot of work on ourselves. However, we are then sometimes without warning find ourselves suddenly in a situation where the wound is there and we're feeling very, very vulnerable and very, very upset and very, very triggered, and we go quickly into our fear place and we quickly respond in the only way that our body and our minds are wired for, which is the fight, flight, freeze or fawn response. And often that plays out in not a very overt way. Sometimes it can be quite a covert way that manifests itself. Sometimes it's very obvious, and it feels at times like we're engaged in a battle. It feels like that's something outside of ourselves that is happening, therefore we must have done something wrong, or what have we done to deserve this, or how come I'm in this situation. And what it's actually helping us to see is where in our life we're still maybe feeling wounded or unhealed, or where in our life we're still holding on to a belief that's not true, that's based in fear. So that's what those situations are there to present to us. They're not there to punish us or to put us backwards. They're there actually to help highlight what is it that we are believing that's not really true. What is it that we're believing that's a fear-based belief? It's time to heal that now. It's time to look at that. So what can happen, and what I'm seeing a lot around, is that there's a lot of projection. So people are projecting whatever their feelings are or of fear onto the situation or the person, or it's out there, or I'm being attacked, or it's something outside of ourselves. But what's actually happening is the fear that's inside of us is kind of it's reflecting out in our outside circumstances. So if we're holding a belief that's a fear-based belief, for example, nobody loves me. So if I'm holding that belief that nobody loves me, I'm going to interpret every situation or every relationship that I encounter with another person as that they don't love me. And it's just going to appear that way, even though that's not really what's happening. My fear is going to interpret what's happening in that way, because it can only go to that part of the brain that feels afraid, that feels threatened or unsafe or in danger. And it's only able to manifest that into that belief. When I've changed my belief and I think everybody loves me, or the world is a safe place, and every person I meet is a potential friend, well, that can shift the whole energy of the connection, because I'm no longer carrying that belief that that person doesn't love me or is going to hate me. I'm actually thinking this could be a really amazing friend. And so the energy of our relationship changes because the fear has gone out of it. So at the moment, also around that is what can happen is we need to establish how much of this is mine that I'm carrying, and how much of this is really what the other person is doing, or the other person's responsibility. And that at the moment is not very balanced. So what I'm seeing in that case is that sometimes people aren't owning, and they're putting the responsibility of a lot of onto the other and of the situation. And in some cases, the other person is taking a lot of the responsibility, and that's not really theirs. Now, this can also be a bit of a trick, and I'm just going to talk to those light workers that have perhaps reached a certain point of their journey where they know that they've done a lot of their own internal work, and they're feeling quite sound inside and quite strong, and they are able to observe in others the same perhaps patterns that they themselves had previously been experiencing, and seeing another person's pain. And these light workers right now also may be receiving the projection of other people's pain. And so as much as it doesn't feel very nice, and it feels extremely horrible emotionally and icky, and it can be very enmeshed and entangled with another person's energy that's in a place of fear, and to receive that energy feels really awful. I know in the past, the kind of part of an old spiritual paradigm was that, we just sent that back, or we said, hey, I don't need to take that, that's not mine. What I would really suggest is, instead of doing that, is just to realize, okay, I think this might be what's happening. That person must be in an awful lot of pain. I can feel their pain. I can feel it inside of me now. And now I'm feeling the guilt and the yuckiness of what that is. Now, instead of getting upset or angry at the other person for putting their stuff on you, I would actually receive it and say, okay, I've done enough of this work to know that that's a lot of fear, and that's a lot of wounding, and I know how to transmute that. I know how to heal that. So I'm going to take a little bit of that. I am going to take a little bit of that. I'm not going to own it, but I'm going to take some of it, because I know how to heal it, and I know how to send love to that person who must be really, really in so much pain. They must have had so much of a difficult life experience to have that, to be holding that much pain. So you can actually start to transform relationships by your strength of power. And what I'm seeing with a lot of light workers, and particularly twin flames, I do speak to twin flames because twin flames, their role is to heal relationships, firstly with themselves, and then they practice healing them with others. And so that is one of our biggest pieces of work. And so at present, those that have journeyed further enough on their journey where they feel strong enough to be able to transmute and heal and send love to other people that they may be encountering that are projecting or feeling or experiencing a lot of pain right now, to please be of service to the collective of humanity and continue to heal up and resolve some of these pains and wounds. It's not your responsibility to go in and heal that person, because they are going to have to do that work for sure. It's still important to maintain boundaries and to if people are behaving in a way where they need to be told certain things about trauma and about life and about how to help them deal with their own fears, that is important still. But if you've received a huge piece of projection and you can feel the energy of it, I would really recommend to do what you can to help heal and transmute that pain, that energy package of pain. We don't really need to be sending it back to that person when they've obviously already got enough, and they probably agreed to take on a lot anyway when they came in. What I'm seeing is a lot of souls getting overwhelmed with the amount of pain and the amount of transmuting and the amount of central nervous system trauma and discharge that's needing to go on. A lot of people getting really sunk under the weight of the emotions of that fear and pain. And so as light workers, we need to be strong enough to help pull others out wherever needed. And I'm not talking about throw the rope and pull someone out. I'm talking about helping to transmute amounts of energy that comes off of that. So I know myself, I'm seeing the numbers. I just looked down and saw 1, 1, 2, 3 then, so it wasn't 1, 1, 1, it was 1, 2, 3. So that to me is showing me when I see sequence numbers rather than synchronistic numbers, the repetitive numbers. The synchronistic numbers are we're moving, we're progressing. So I can see as we progress on our journey that we are making a lot of progress. What I'm seeing the most are the 144s or 414 or 441 or whatever combination of 144. I'm seeing that all the time on every single number plate almost. I feel like, oh my God. And when I question what is that, I've done a previous video on that, but I just check in always to make sure, is this what I'm meant to be doing? And I do get the message, step up, step in, service, light workers on deck. Right now there's still a lot of I'm just going to call it shit. There's still a lot of shit flying around in the universe because of all of the discharge of all of this pain and energy and fear. We need to be really vigilant right now of the energies, otherwise it'll be easy to get sucked down again into the vortex of the fear as it's being released, because it's like they're showing me kind of like a ship when it's sinking and it pulls down, and even though you might have got off the ship and you think you got off the ship and you think you're safe, you've got to get clear of that energy that pulls the ship down with, and you go down with it. Okay, so you don't want to be on that sinking ship, okay, because that is basically the energy of the old paradigm. It's sinking. It is definitely sinking, but you need to get clear of it so you don't go down with it. And so that means maintaining vigilance of making sure that when you feel there's an energy around you that's not clean, it's not clear, it can come in and try and sort of pull you in, and you can start to have those ruminating negative thoughts or ruminating negative emotions that have come from whatever shit's flying around us right now, from all of the discharge that's going on, from people's trauma that they're healing and clearing and learning how to resolve. So that's what I'm seeing. I'll just have to say that again, that I've sort of been reading, I do read some stuff and I listen to some stuff on YouTube when I get the time. I'm now working full time, so I don't really have a lot of time to read and listen to other things. But when I hear things about, trying to stay light and positive is one thing, but pretending that it's not happening is another. And this, stuff it feels real, it can be real, it can be very powerful, a lot of the fear that's being released, and it can be very, very, it can really, really affect us. So we do need to maintain vigilance in the way that we keep our own energy clear and uplifted and positive and powerful, and stay in the light and shine your light, continue to shine it bright. That doesn't mean, darkness go away, there is no darkness. That means there is more darkness going around than ever. We just need to be strong enough to hold the light and hold the logic and hold the grounded energy of, we can do this. This is something that we've been working on for, I don't know, eons of time. And, we are in this human body for a very good reason, and we can help heal just through our vibration alone, through our strength and our power that we've claimed back from being powerless already, to actually affect positively a large number of people. So we will be getting put into positions, and I know that a big role for the divine feminines, whether you're a male or female, doesn't matter, but the energy of the divine feminine is all about coming back into the power, using our heart chakra to guide us and to heal humanity, and to expose and speak out, to use our voices, to shine the light and call out energies of where there's been power and control, force and manipulation, or energies that have been subversive and suppressive towards anyone in any way, shape or form, or discriminatory or judgy. So wherever that energy is in our society, that's where we'll be working to break it down, and to expose it and to shine our positivity and our light. So we're all getting put in our various grid points and positions in our roles, in all departments, in all roles, in all jobs. It doesn't mean that you have to be necessarily with the title of light worker. My example for myself is that I have been put in the role of manager of a mental health crisis respite home for people that are experiencing mental distress as an alternative to hospital. So they're either avoiding a hospital admission, or they've just had a hospital admission and they're transitioning home. So this is a really interesting role. I mean, I'm not saying I'm here to save the world by any means, because I still have to work within systems, because we are actually funded by the government, and so I have to work within our current government mental health system, which as a light worker, as we know, is definitely not ideal. But again, we're put in various situations for various reasons to be there in our roles, to help and support, and to help bring in and create and continue to uplift others, to create positive, meaningful change, and to highlight where things may have been out of balance, and where we may be using fear-based systems to control people, to judge people, and to and that is one of the fields, the sectors of our humanity where I think people are controlled the most. Well, there's many others, but this is just one that I've found myself in, where obviously psychiatry in itself is a profession that has created various diagnoses to give people, which do not have any medical tests involved. Is all really based on an opinion of one person that decides this person has these symptoms, therefore that's what's happening, therefore take this, this is the label, and in order to control that person so they don't behave in a way that might be uncomfortable for others, we better give them this medication to sort of make sure that they behave themselves, another form of control. And also, as we know, sort of tied up with a whole another realm of conspiracies around the pharmaceutical industry and the high levels of control of the psychiatry and field of mental health. So, there's a lot of work to be done. We've still got our boots on, we've still got our raincoats on, we're still getting in amongst it, where things are slowly changing, and that's what we're here to do. We're here, it's not going to be perfect. We're in the midst of change, and to accept that is very important. And to do what we can is very important, not to give up. And so in terms of my beloved twin flame, we are, we're friends, as I say. We're very good friends and we have very good communication and very good contact with each other. He has also just gone through something, really another sort of big, deep, life-challenging experience, as he has continued to do quite regularly for, probably since we met, I imagine. His whole life's challenge, I think, but he always tries to stay really, really positive, and but at the same time he's going through a physical challenge, and but what I want to get from this, what I'm being guided to say by Spirit, is that if you and your twin flame are meant to be together, the universe will find a way for that to happen. And if you can just be rest assured and trust that it's not going to be through anything that you actually do to make that happen. The best thing for you to do is just to continue to work on yourself and to look at whatever it is where you may be living in any kind of fear. And wherever you have sort of any trigger coming up or any reaction to anything at all, it's a really good indication, and it's showing you what it is that you need to work on. So keep doing that, keep working on those areas that are being clearly highlighted to you, and to trust that when the time is right and when it's meant to be, the universe will have a very amazing way of bringing the two of you together. And so what I'm seeing from this challenge that my twin flame is facing right now is that, he's somehow or other, I can see the universe is kind of arranging for us. It's found a way for him to come towards me. So that's interesting. And so I'm just going to watch that unfold. I'm sort of at that point where I don't have any expectations of him at all. I definitely do not see or expect us to be in any type of relationship that remotely relates to what I believe is a 3D templated relationship. If it's going to be a relationship, it'll be something very different and out of the box and unique. And that's what I've always been like as a person in my whole life, and he is too. So we're definitely not going to be fitting into any categories, that's for sure. And when the time's right for us, we're still on many levels establishing trust and safety with each other, and that comes through a lot of deep and meaningful conversations, communications that I know that only him and I can have together, and that's very, very sacred to him and I, and very, very private. Why I talk about this and why I'm on video talking about this is because I do believe that it is a phenomena that has affected a large number of people, and that I was definitely guided to talk about it because it was such a crazy, trippy experience that it was just worthy of talking about. And if there's a whole lot of people that are also going through it, and it can feel so crazy and at times really difficult, I believe that talking about it helps others, and helps others to not get stuck on those particular areas where we can get stuck, where I see to do with our fears and our conditioning and our templating around relationships particularly, and around our attachments to how things need to be. And so what some of the key things that I've learned along the way that I believe are absolutely essential to this path are letting go, learning how understanding your own attachment needs, and being able to trust with the letting go. So when you let go, you actually also have to trust in whatever, not having any expectations of any outcomes of how it's meant to look, and holding at the same time, however, holding an absolute unconditional positive regard and love for your twin flame above all else, no matter what. And what's one of the other important ones? having faith in yourself, believing in yourself, and following your passion and your purpose, and being there for you when you're facing your worst fears, that you're there for you, that you try and work out where you might be grasping or averting, and to look at coming into your own balance. Yeah, so anyway, I think that's probably about all I'm going to talk about today, because I don't want this to be too long in case I have trouble uploading these bigger videos. But really appreciate you for listening and for taking the time and for being here with me. And even though I am working full-time in my role, which I believe is part of my mission as well, part of my purpose, part of my passion, I do still have time over the weekend to see people for individual sessions and to do readings and catch-ups with people that need them. So please get in touch with me if you're needing some individual time on your journey. Be happy to hear from you, and in the meantime, sending you out all lots of love, and please take care out there. Okay, bye for now.